The most dangerous enemy you'll ever face isn't loud, it's patient, it's polite, it stands beside you, watching, learning, waiting. It's the one silently planning while they smile in your direction. Not all hatred looks like rage. Some of it smiles. Some of it offers you a drink, lends you advice, laughs at your jokes. Other, dressed in charm, cloaked in laughter, and walks beside you like an old friend, while quietly setting the trap. This video isn't about paranoia, it's about precision. It's about clarity. Because there are people, maybe closer than you think, who don't just dislike you. They want to undermine you, disarm you, and destroy you without ever raising their voice. And most people never see it coming. They ignore the signs. They laugh off the instincts. They call it overthinking, until it's too late. But not you, not today. Marcus Aurelius warned, the closer you are to the truth, the more viciously falsehood will fight back. This is a truth video. It's going to cut through illusions, your own and others. And it's going to show you 5 specific patterns of behavior that aren't just toxic. They're strategic, they're weaponized, and they're designed to leave you blindsided. By the end of this video, you'll be able to spot them with brutal clarity. You'll learn to see the predator behind the pleasantry, the manipulation behind the smile, the dagger behind the compliment. And if you've ever felt that something wasn't right, but couldn't prove it, this is the video you've been waiting for. So stay locked in, watch until the end, because once you recognize these signs, you can't unsee them. And if you're serious about sharpening your awareness and protecting your peace, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell, because this isn't just information. I'm giving you an armor. Sign number 1, the silent observer. Some threats shout, others study. The most dangerous enemy isn't the one who insults you in public. It's the one who watches you in silence, collecting data, tracking patterns, building a strategy. This is what I call the silent observer. The person who doesn't just dislike you. They want to understand you better than you understand yourself. Not because they care, because they need to predict you to destroy you. It starts subtly. They always seem to be around, at the gym, at your regular coffee shop, in conversations you didn't expect them to be part of. They know things they shouldn't. They laugh at a joke you never told them. They show up somewhere you never invited them. At first, you tell yourself it's coincidence. But coincidence is the mask that surveillance wears. Sun Tzu warned, if your enemy is secure at all points, be prepared for him. If he is in superior strength, evade him. If your opponent is temperamental, seek to irritate him, but know him first. This is the ancient psychology of modern threat. The silent observer is practicing behavioral patterning. They're mapping you, routines, habits, access points, not to connect with you, to forecast you. In psychology, this is called targeted mirroring, the quiet collection of details to either manipulate or exploit. They don't have to break into your phone. They just follow the breadcrumbs you, or the people around you, leave out in the open. Your Instagram stories, your friends' group tags, the throwaway comment you made at work. They piece it together. They start placing themselves in your path, so when they strike, it looks like chance. Epictetus said, first, say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do. The silent observer says nothing, but they're doing what they have to do, and they've already decided who you are to them. A target. So how do you defend yourself? You don't panic, you don't run, you observe back. Who is always nearby but never truly connected to you? Who remembers details you never shared? Who appears harmless but feels off? Trust the sensation. Your intuition is not anxiety. It's awareness trying to break through noise. Marcus Aurelius wrote, your mind will take the shape of what you frequently hold in thought. So hold this in thought. Anyone can smile, but not everyone should have proximity. Sign number 2, the quiet betrayal. If you're waiting for betrayal to feel like a slap in the face, you've already missed it. Because the most effective betrayals, they don't hit, they erode. They don't explode your world, they unravel it, not with confrontation, with calibration. This is the quiet betrayal, a slow, deliberate campaign to isolate you, misrepresent you, and make you question your own place in the very spaces you once owned. And it almost always starts with someone who seems loyal. A co-worker who praises you publicly but whispers seeds of doubt in private. A friend who just wants to help but somehow always knows where to twist the knife. Someone who slowly redirects the room against you without ever raising their voice. They don't need to attack you directly. They let the room do it for them. Machiavelli knew this game better than anyone. He wrote, "Men are driven by two principal impulses, either by love or by fear." A quiet betrayer doesn't care about either. They're driven by advantage, and they know fear spreads faster when planted in silence. This isn't paranoia, it's social engineering, a concept from both military tactics and psychology. These individuals manipulate your perception in small, consistent doses. A misquote here, a concerned comment there, a look of doubt passed at just the right time in just the right meeting. Seneca warned, "A sword never kills anybody by itself. It is merely the weapon the hand wields." And in this case, the hand is disguised as a handshake. So how do you defend against an attack that doesn't look like an attack? Watch for friction without a cause. When rooms grow colder, when invites disappear, when support vanishes without explanation, something is moving in the shadows. Trust patterns, not moments. A manipulator counts on you forgiving the moment. A strategist recognizes when those moments start forming a design. Fortify your integrity. As Epictetus said, "If someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Instead, live in such a way that no one believes them. Let your actions be louder than their whispers. And most importantly, keep your circle tight. Not out of fear, but out of strategy. Be kind, but be surgical." Sign number 3, the mask of friendship. The most dangerous enemy isn't across the battlefield. They're sitting next to you. They've borrowed your trust, your stories, your time, and they're sharpening a knife behind your back while telling you it's all love. This is the mask of friendship, not just betrayal, but camouflaged infiltration. This person doesn't want to destroy you from a distance. They want front row access to your downfall, and they want you to hand them the key. At first, they seem perfect. They're supportive, always available, curious about your goals, your pain, your insecurities. They call it closeness. You call it trust. But what it really is strategic vulnerability mapping. In modern psychology, this is tied to Machiavellian intelligence, the ability to manipulate social relationships by mirroring trust, feigning connection, and stockpiling leverage. They don't want to hurt you randomly. They want to know how to hurt you effectively. Machiavelli himself warned, "It is double pleasure to deceive the deceiver." The false friend sees you not as a companion, but as a long game, a pawn to move, then sacrifice. And the scariest part, they look like they care. They're the ones who check in on you when no one else does, because they want to know when you're weakest. They're the ones who support your dream, until they start subtly steering it. They don't say you can't do it. They say, "Maybe that's too risky." They say, "Are you sure you're ready?" They wrap doubt in affection and plant it in your ambition. Marcus Aurelius warned, "The opinion of 10,000 men is of no value if none of them know the truth." And here's the truth. Not everyone who smiles in your face wants you to win. So how do you spot the mask? Watch for acceleration. True friendships evolve slowly. Fake ones fast forward because the mask slips with time and they're racing against exposure. Pay attention to emotional positioning. Do they lift you up Or do they keep you dependent on their approval? A real friend encourages clarity. A fake one cultivates confusion. Guard your inner world. As Epictetus said, "He who shares all hands others the knife to cut him with." The false friend doesn't need you to fail publicly. They just need you to feel powerless in private. A true friend respects your boundaries. A fake one studies them, tests them, and waits for the moment to step over them. And when that moment comes, they won't push you. They'll suggest you fall. Remember this: be kind, but be careful. As Seneca warned, it is more fitting to distrust a friend than to be deceived by one. You don't need 100 friends. You need 2 who would never smile while holding a blade. And if you want to go deeper into how this kind of social warfare really works, read Where It All Began, The Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. It's not a guidebook for villains. It's a field manual for surviving people who wear masks. I've dropped a link to the exact version I recommend in the pinned comment. If you want to understand the game at a higher level, start there. Sign number 4, the gradual attack. No one wakes up evil. No one starts with violence. They escalate. And the smartest threats, they don't sprint. They drip feed the damage. This is the gradual attack, where your boundaries are tested, bent, then broken in slow motion. Where disrespect disguises itself as dark humor. Where threats wear a grin and call themselves jokes. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." But if you don't recognize the threat, you become the path they walk on. It starts with accidental invasions. A push that's playful. A comment that was just a joke. A stare that lasts 1 second too long. They're not trying to hurt you, yet. They're testing, measuring, seeing what you'll let slide. Psychologists call this boundary desensitization. It's how abusers and manipulators normalize abnormal behavior, 1 inch at a time. And if you don't say anything, if you laugh it off, that silence becomes their green light. They don't need to attack. They just keep turning up the heat until you forget it's boiling. One day, they're bumping into you. Next, they're standing too close. Then they slam something on your desk. As a joke. And finally, when they know you won't resist, they go too far, and you won't even know when it changed. Seneca warned, "No man becomes bad all at once." The enemy doesn't always arrive in armor. Sometimes they arrive in small gestures, each one just beneath your threshold of resistance. So how do you counter this? You respond with precision, not rage, not retreat, surgical self-respect. Track the shift. If someone's behavior toward you is consistently escalating, in intensity, proximity, or aggression, it's not random. It's calculated conditioning. Keep mental records, no excuses, no rewriting history. Set boundaries with clarity and finality, not with loud emotion, but with calm fire. Say less, mean more. When you speak, your words must land like a verdict, not a suggestion. Stop making them comfortable. You're not here to accommodate slow sabotage. If someone repeatedly violates your energy, your time, or your space, they lose access, quietly, permanently. As Epictetus said, you may not control all events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. And here's the truth no one wants to say. Most people don't become abusers out of nowhere. They become what you let them be, step by tolerated step. Kindness is not compliance, and silence is not strength when the other person is escalating. Draw your line, enforce it with strategy, hold it without apology. Because if you don't, they won't just test you, they'll train you. Sign number 5, the long game. Some threats come crashing through the door. Others sit patiently at your table for years. The most dangerous enemy isn't the one who's angry. It's the one who's calculating. They don't act out of emotion. They act out of design. This is the long game. The enemy who waits, who watches, who smiles for seasons while silently building a strategy that cannot fail. These people don't need drama. They prefer stability. Yours, because they plan to dismantle it slowly, completely, and without warning. Machiavelli warned, "The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present." The patient enemy promises peace with one hand while tightening the noose with the other. This person isn't just in your life. They're embedded in it. They know your habits, your goals, your blind spots, because you gave them willingly. Not because you were weak, but because you believed they were safe. And that's what makes them lethal. Their weapon isn't anger, it's access. In psychology, this is what we call covert narcissism, a manipulative personality that hides behind helpfulness, sympathy, and loyalty, while quietly resenting your success and planning your downfall. They ask about your future with interest, so they know when to sabotage it. They listen to your struggles, so they know where to press when the time comes. They play the long game because their goal isn't just to hurt you, it's to collapse you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." The long game manipulator lives in disguise so long, they forget they're lying. So how do you stop a slow-burning enemy? Monitor consistency, not charisma. Charisma can be mimicked, but long-term consistency is hard to fake. When words and actions stop lining up, start paying attention. Limit information access. Just because someone asks doesn't mean they deserve an answer. Oversharing isn't vulnerability. It's often self-sabotage. Trust discomfort over charm. If someone makes you uneasy even while doing nothing wrong, listen to that. Your subconscious sees patterns before your mind accepts them. Epictetus said, "Be careful to leave your children well instructed rather than rich, for the hopes of the instructed are better than the wealth of the ignorant." In the same way, train your instincts better than you build your trust. And here's the final truth. The long game only works when you keep giving the benefit of the doubt. But doubt, when it's consistent, isn't a flaw. It's a flag, and flags are meant to be seen. You don't need to confront them, you just need to cut off the path. Because the most devastating trap isn't the one you fall into. It's the one you walk into, over time, because the door was always open. Sun Tzu wrote, "When you surround an army, leave an outlet free. Do not press a desperate foe too hard." But a long game enemy doesn't want your escape. They want your collapse to look like your own idea. So don't just watch people. Watch timelines. Watch patterns. And when someone seems too perfect for too long, ask yourself, what exactly are they waiting for? If this video felt heavy, it's because the truth is, we don't walk through life surrounded by villains in black cloaks. We walk past smiling saboteurs. We text them back. We call them friends. But now you see. And once you see, you can never go back. The 5 signs we walked through today, they aren't red flags. They're alarms. And you've got 2 options now. Ignore them and hope for the best. Or sharpen your awareness and control your proximity like your life depends on it. Because sometimes it does. If you found value in this, let the world know you're wide awake. Drop the phrase, "I see clearly," in the comments. And if you want to protect your energy, build stronger instincts, and move through life with presence and precision, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell. Also, if you want to understand the deeper psychology behind manipulation, control, and social power, I've left a link in the pinned comment to The Prince by Machiavelli. It's required reading for anyone serious about mastering their environment. Because from here on out, you're not just reacting, you're reading, anticipating, choosing. That's how you stay in control, stay sharp, stay sovereign, and never confuse a smile with safety. I'll see you in the next one.